Okay, well, hello everybody. On behalf of the first year experience, we want to send greetings to all of our exploratory undeclared students who are making their way through the spring semester. You've had a couple of semesters now to get things under your belt and get your feet on the ground, and we're quickly moving in the direction of giving you an opportunity to declare your major. And one of the resources that we have to help you make your decision is through our Career Services Office. And so today we have Joe Santa Cruz from the office who's going to talk to us a little bit about one of those free online tools that you can use. So Joe.
Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate it. And good to be here and good to have this conversation with everybody today. Today, we're going to be talking about our Focus 2 assessment. If you had attended one of the seminars in the fall, we probably touched upon this a little bit. And so hopefully this page, at least of our Canvas page, is not new to you. But if it is, I believe the link is available to you guys on the FYE site. I'm going to scroll down a touch on here, and you will see underneath our quick links, bunch of information on here to help you out with your career development. But the first one you'll notice is our Focus 2. Before I click into there to show you guys what the sign-in page looks like, I do want to note below here where it says access code Clipper. This is going to be important when you're actually registering your profile because you're going to have to plug in an access code. So just remember that as Clipper. And so when you click on this link, it will take you to our login page like this. And so one of the first things I always like to point out to everybody is that we have not pre-populated anything in here for you. So you do have to go to register, okay? And so when you go to the registration page, again, that access code will be the first thing that you want to fill out, and that's just Clipper, no capitals, just Clipper. Everything else you will complete on your own. So first name, last name, and your email. As far as your username and password are concerned, again, this is something that you determine on your own. Our suggestion to you would be to use your Salem State login stuff, as we know that's going to be unique to you, and hopefully just keeps it easier for you to remember. And then when you go to the bottom here to choose one, we're just going to choose Salem State undergraduate. We'll check here, and then it will then take you to a page around questions for security purposes, right? So if you forget your username, forget your password, just a question and answer to help you remember all that stuff. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to return back to my sign-in page, and I'm going to log into mine. But yeah, please, question.
So when you give your email, is it a strong preference or is it a requirement to use your Salem State email address?
Yeah, you should use your Salem State email. It may allow it without it, but we highly recommend the Salem State one. Okay.
That's probably also what makes it free for you to use.
Correct, exactly, yeah. So good question, thank you. I'm going to plug in my username and my password now. And so after you create your account, you can return back to this login page any other time you want to access your profile. So what we'll do is we'll go to the student view, and here's what your home page will look like after you complete all of those questions and answers. And so good stuff up top, but where I want to take you as far as assessment-wise is underneath the self-assessment piece. And so what we have in here are 5 different assessments: work interest, values, personality, skills, and leisure. Okay. Understand first, none of these assessments are timed. They probably won't take you very long, but don't rush through it, number one. Number two, there's no right or wrong answers. What I tend to recommend to anybody taking this assessment is just answer as honestly as possible, right? For all those questions to get the results back that are going to be most effective to you. And third, what is really important to note is that not everything on here is a be all end all, meaning that doesn't mean the results that you get does not mean you have to become that, right? These are suggestions. These are aligning a lot of what you're saying about yourself. And then two, you could always retake this stuff if you needed to and you wanted to. So what I want to show you first is just my results from the work interest one, because it's going to first show you skills based upon the Holland code. Okay. And so where you're going to score the highest and where you're going to score the lowest based upon things like your work interest. And so for me, you'll notice conventional and enterprising are my 2 highest ones. My realistic and artistic ones are certainly the lowest, which means that none of the occupations that I see in here are going to be really focused around an artistic ability. Okay. And it gives you your definitions of what that stuff actually means down here. And so we can scroll through and you can see what all that stuff, actually consist of for yourself. When I go to continue on here, that's going to show me my results. Now, a couple things to note on here. First, you will see suggested occupations that match your work interests, okay? And so, as I said before, you're going to find different occupations in here that really don't match to what you want to do. You might already know that already. Like for me, I'll probably never become a boat charter administrator. However, it's really based upon the skill set of what you're saying, right? And so that's how they match the occupations to that. Now, in here, a lot of these types of positions probably match really well to what I do as a career counselor, just based upon the skill set itself, right? So keep that stuff in mind. For the undeclared folks, here's what's really helpful to you, I think. They'll match you with majors that are available at Salem State to coincide with these different occupations. Now, for me, if I'm still in that exploratory phase of I don't even know what I want to major in yet, forget about what I want to do for a career, this is the area that I would pay close attention to. And then for me, it's which ones are actually repeating, right? Not only my work interests, but all the other ones that I take in terms of my assessments. And for me, if I'm seeing the same thing multiple times, then the red light tends to go off and say, okay, maybe this is something that I want to explore a little bit further. Question.
Yeah, so when I look at the first one in that list, I see
Sure.
that it says arts and sciences. So
Yeah.
when I see
Yeah.
something like that, that's obviously a college at the
Yeah.
university, and there's a whole bunch of majors under there. So does that sort of
Correct.
signify I could major in history or media and communications? So it's broad, it doesn't really matter what major because all of those
Absolutely.
provide skills towards that type of position.
Absolutely. Yeah. And then thinking about a major like an interdisciplinary studies, right, where you may get a variety in terms of a gamut, that could be something else to think about too. So yeah, you're right in what you're saying. But that could even give you kind of more of that diverse, set of experiences based upon that type of occupation. Now, when I look at these occupations, some of the ones where you see a sun, that's going to mean it's projected to grow over the next 10 years. And if I'm looking at this and I say, okay, I want to learn more about what a credit counselor actually does, I can click on that. And this will give me a nice breakdown of the occupation, overall information about it, job tasks, skills needed based upon my skills, educational requirements to actually work in a role like this, potential earnings. And what you can see here is more kind of national numbers, and you can break it down by the state that you're in. And then some of these actually have information around, networking and professional association information. So I'll go back on here. That again just gives you kind of the breakdown of the actual occupation. I'm going to return home for a second now and back to my assessment. So I can review all my results after I take that stuff. I can also combine assessments. And so if I go to combine, and let's say I want to take a look at things like my skills and my personality, does anything kind of match to that? And I have 186 occupations that actually match within those two assessments, right? So if I'm seeing things in multiple areas, again, that's an indicator to me that is something I may want to explore a little bit further. But I will go back home. The last thing I want to show you guys outside of just the assessment part of this is exploring the possibilities, right? So what can I actually do with a certain major if I majored at that at Salem State University? And then occupations. If I want to search for a certain occupation, where can I get additional information around the entire setup of it? What does it consist of, right? Skills. What does the job actually mean? What's the pay look like? What is the job outlook looking like? So all that information can be found under the explore the possibility side of this. It's a good resource. For me, it's like I said, it's not a be all end all, but I think it's pretty accurate as long as we're being honest in our approach with it. And if you find yourself that you say, okay, let me take these assessments, let me look at my results, kind of where do I go from here? I think that's a time for you to say, maybe I can go have a conversation with somebody in career services. Let's look at those next steps, right? What does all that stuff actually mean? And to help you again, to make that informed decision of what you actually want to major. Other questions, Matthew? Anything else that we can kind of cover as we're into the resource right now?
Yeah, I think what I love about this is it's so easy. It's pretty
Yeah,
simple.
yeah,
But I can imagine there might be some, when I saw that 186 opportunities my mind got blown a little bit there.
Yeah,
But I love
yeah,
your point about if you start to see some majors in that list that repeat, like if his business administration keeps repeating
right.
as a major that gets you towards a particular career, that's a good indicator of perhaps what you might want to consider majoring in. Let's
Absolutely.
say I'm somebody who wants to talk about this a little
Yeah,
bit more, and I want to have someone walk me through what my results are because it's a
sure,
little confusing. Is there
sure.
someone in career services that can do that?
Of course, any one of us that meets with students can absolutely do that. So just scheduling an appointment, we can take a look at this together and kind of see what all this stuff actually means, for you as a student. And a lot of times what I'll say to folks is, it's an indicator, right? There are things that are coming up, but also too, um, you know, where do I go from here, right? Can I be asking questions to faculty members? Can I be talking to folks that maybe do this stuff in terms of their own work? And so we can talk about what all that stuff actually means for the individual students.
I think on your career services Canvas page,
Yep,
you
I
had
can jump
the
back to that too.
ways to select an appointment, ways to set up an appointment.
Sure. So what you can do is a couple different ways, right? So we're back onto the Canvas page now. You can first go to your Handshake profile. And when you click on that link, it'll take you to the sign-in page. Same sign-in as your Salem State, as if you were signing into the Salem State website. So just email and your password. That should get you into your profile. There's an option there to schedule an appointment. If not, if we scroll down to connect with us, phone, although given the world we live in right now, that may not be as quick of a response as an email. So career@salemstate.edu would get you a quicker response. Um, and just say, looking to schedule an appointment, talk about my focus 2 results, and someone will get back to you with scheduling an appointment. So all the information is available right on here.
This is great.
Yeah,
Um, Thank you. I think it's nice that it's so easy and simple, so it makes
pleasure.
sense to me. And I appreciate that you and your staff are so willing to answer questions if students have further
Abs-
want to get up further
Absolutely. And
information.
if anything comes up prior to even beginning it, any questions initially to get signed in, let us know. Send us an email. We'll get back to you as soon as we can. All right.
So thank you so much for taking the time today to put this
Pleasure.
together for our students. And we will
Pleasure.
definitely be in touch with more questions.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me in. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.